In today's video, Michael Owen and Gary McAllister talk on a programme, well, a channel called The Greatest Sport. I imagine this is after a game, and they give their version of what they think is should or shouldn't happen with Alexander Isak to Liverpool. I'm looking forward to this because I quite like what Michael Owen has to say sometimes, not as a commentator, as a pundit. I think he speaks a lot of sense. So let's see exactly what happens in this video. Right, okay. Gary McAllister, I'd never really seen him be a pundit, but obviously ex-Liverpool as well, so I'd like to see what he got to say and obviously what Michael Owen's got to say. Let's go.
Okay, so this situation is going on. This is the latest from Eddie Howe after the game at Aston Villa. The door is well and truly open, he said, but he needs to decide what he wants to do. We'd like a resolution. We need that clarity. I'm not in control of it. Only one person is. I've made my stance.
Alexander Isak says he doesn't want to play for him. He wants to play for Liverpool. He wants to move. That's why he's on strike. That's why he went training with Real Betis. So she does. I think it was Betis, wasn't it? Yeah, Real Betis. That's why he went training over there. You know what I mean? I don't know what Eddie Howe's on about here, but let's see what these two have got to say.
See, clear.
I can totally understand the comments of Eddie Howe.
Yeah, because you've been a manager and an assistant manager.
You know, and the guy's a top player. There's no doubt about that. And
what about the way he's conducted himself?
It's not been great.
No.
But it's pretty clear that even the way he's conducted himself, that he still would welcome him back in the changing room. Whether his teammates...
Whether that might just be, please play for us. Do you know what I mean? We need you in this team. We know we're going to be knackered without you because Newcastle can't sign a striker at the minute. You know what I mean?
That's the big question. Yeah, because he's chosen not to turn up or not. The stories and rumour.
I don't agree with that.
We hear that he doesn't want to train, doesn't want to play. If that's the case, it's very hard to win back your teammates. That would be the big fear for me as a player trying to go back into.
I don't think the teammates would be as bad. Right, I think that the people in the board and the manager and the staff would be more hostile towards Isak compared to the players. Do you know what I mean? You form a bit of a camaraderie on the pitch, and he's not wanting to leave the players; he's wanting to leave the club. Right, the club. He's not want. He's. I'm sure. How many players have left clubs and they're still friends with the old teammates? You know what I mean? I don't think it's as bad as the people are making out that the players won't talk to him again and stuff.
Yeah, Alexander Isak's behaviour.
Well, for starters, Steve, the first paragraph there, the door is well and truly open, but Isak needs to decide what he wants to do. Well,
yeah.
He has decided.
Yes.
We all know that he wants to leave.
Yeah.
And that's why he's having this stance.
Has he gone about it in the right way?
No. And I will not condone a player refusing to.
Yeah.
But what I don't agree with is all these ex-players coming out, you know, sticking up for the club, sticking up for this, that and the other, all having a go at Isak. They all would have done exactly the same, all of them. He's not a bad person. He's not a bad lad. He didn't come into this situation and said, right, I'm never going to train again, you know, unless he would have said to Eddie Howe, if reports are right, he would have said to Eddie Howe towards the end of last season, the opportunity arises, I'd like to go to a team like Liverpool. This is a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity.
Facts.
And I'm pretty sure he would have gone about it the right way to start with. But the more and more you're prevented from doing something that you think would be so good for you in your career, the more and more desperation hits.
The more you dig your heels in, the more you say, like, hang on, you said to me that if a big team comes in for me at some point, I know there was no actual written agreement, but there was a gentleman's like handshake, wasn't there? Or people in the, from what I understand, people were talking about this and saying that, you know, we would allow you to go to a bigger team should the opportunity arise. And like Michael Owen said, going to a team as large as Liverpool, especially with the project they've got going on at the minute, it is a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity. And Isak wants that. He's not there for the money and this. And obviously, he gets paid for it. Don't get me wrong. I'm not totally stupid to that. But he wants the glory. He wants to win. He wants to play in the Champions League with a team that's got a chance of winning it. Do you know what I mean? And he's chasing the glory, not the money. You know what I mean? And he's 25. If he runs out the next 3 years of his contract, he'll be 28, 29. You know what I mean? You need to move now if you're going to. He's 25. He's approaching his prime, sort of thing.
More and more your agent says, right, mate, the only way you're contracted, the only way, if you're so desperate to play for a club like Liverpool, and why wouldn't he be, then the only way is you're going to have to make some noises. You're going to have to...
The agent, under the
whatever.
agent.
Go and see the manager. If he won't let you, you're going to have to refuse to play or whatever. Now, I'm not condoning that. But any player out there that starts saying, oh, you know, this is a disgrace and whatever, and I've listened to loads of them, and I feel like throwing something at the television because I don't condone anybody refusing to play.
Yeah, that's what
but
I
what
said.
I also don't condone is football clubs themselves.
What's he going to say about football clubs? Because obviously Michael Owen is quite experienced in this now. Obviously, when he left Liverpool, left Real Madrid, etc., he actually played for Newcastle as well, didn't he? So, you know, I can understand this. And if the agent has advised Isak to go on strike or say this, make some noise, blah, 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 then you know what I mean? It's not fully on Isak. Isak did act on them, so yeah, you know, but if he wants to move to Liverpool, he'll do anything he can to try and force that move. I don't see anything happening until after the Newcastle match, because there's no way, if Newcastle are going to like bow down to this, that they're going to want Isak playing against them for Liverpool. They're going to wait for the very last moment. You know what I mean?
It's the other way round. When somebody signs somebody on a 3-year contract, they're not doing so well. If Isak was playing rubbish...
Oh, hang on.
Also don't condone is football clubs themselves.
Right.
When it's the other way round. When somebody signs somebody on a 3-year contract, they're not doing so well.
Yeah.
If Isak was playing rubbish, they might be trying to get rid of him. They'll be threatening him to, right, you'll play in the reserves.
Facts.
If you don't go, we want to sell you. If you don't go, I'm going to make your life a misery.
Yeah.
Nobody remembers all these things.
See?
9 out of 10
This
transfers.
situation is not going to go away. I think
9 out of 10 transfers. If you're not playing well, then it's all right for the club to start badgering and bullying you to say, like, we'll stick you in the reserves if you don't go. Do you know what I mean? But as soon as a good player wants to go, they want it all their own way. I get that. I get that from what Owen said. And obviously he's a guy who's going to be of big experience in this sort of thing.
Nobody remembers all these, Steve. This happens 9 out of 10 transfers.
This situation is not going to go away. I think this is going to be part of the wheeling and dealing between clubs.
Yeah.
This is a big negotiation at the highest level, so it's getting in the papers.
Would you think
but
that,
most of the time, Steve, it's the clubs on the players.
If you were a Newcastle teammate of his strike partner, that he's just helped you win their first major trophy in over 60 years?
Of course you'd be disappointed, but the beauty of football...
You wouldn't think like that, though, would you?
I'd be disappointed if he was a great player. I'd want to keep him because we got a chance of winning more. Of course you would.
Yeah.
But this isn't new. This has happened since football was invented. Players going to the best teams.
Yes.
And if it wasn't, we'd have a boring competition.
But do you understand
And that
Newcastle's
move might
stance? They're not going to
disappear.
roll over.
Exactly.
Fair point.
That move might never have...
This is his one chance.
You don't know.
He's worked all his life for this type of chance.
You know, what about the club who bought him, nurtured him,
absolutely,
given him the contract? Eddie Howe, who's
He's not
coached
done
him
that.
and made him better.
Yeah.
Thank you for your services. We're going to get the great payoff. You get 130 to 150 million for him. So you're getting your money back. You're getting your money back for nurturing him and bringing him through. That's what you're getting, right? It's not like he's going for nothing. It's not like when Trent left Liverpool and we had 25 years into that guy and we ended up getting 10 million back because Real Madrid wanted to play him quicker. And that's the only reason we got 10 million for him. Otherwise, it would have been a free transfer. So that people who compare them to, Trent and Isak, don't know what they're talking about. But this, okay, fair enough. He's put a lot into the club. He's halfway through his contract, but they're going to get paid handsomely for that, right? They've got 130 million in the kitty at least if they accept Liverpool's offer. Proposed offer, I suppose. So it's not just a case of we've nurtured him, this, that, and the other. You're looking at the wrong angle because they're going to get paid handsomely.
Not done bad for them, though, has he? Won them the first trophy.
Yes.
Made them double their money.
You understand them not going to roll over and just say, yeah, have it.
I'm playing devil's advocate because I'm sick and tired of players coming on
It should get to a number then, because it does need a resolution. I think for all parties concerned, the best outcome is for it to end, because it's this fella's having to face questions every single day.
Yeah.
So, he's having to get into a changing room as well.
But equally, he's not going to let him through the door and leave himself without any centre forwards. They're in the Champions League as well.
No, absolutely.
And that's why.
So get the right fee, and then they've got recruitment guys as well who have given Eddie probably 3 or 4 names.
And the problem is, Newcastle. I'm going to be a lot of Jardy fans probably shouting at me for this. Is not as big a club as Liverpool is. They're just not. You know what I mean? They've got the great atmosphere, they've got the great ground, they've got a big, massive stadium, etc., and a great following, and very, very staunch, loyal fans. But when you go like history, heritage, the size of Liverpool to the size of Newcastle, it's a big gulf. Do you know what I mean? And this is why even Newcastle's not even as big as Manchester United, and they're crap at the minute. And the fact that United's taking players that they want, Liverpool's taking players that they want, other teams that are bigger than Newcastle are taking players on. tells you that Newcastle are not a great big club. They can't even sign anybody. Right? That's it. It's not that they haven't tried. It's just that other clubs, including a very, very underperforming Man United, have taken players their targets. Do you know what I mean?
As well, who have given Eddie probably 3 or 4 names. So it's, the quicker it all sorts itself at the better.
Yeah.
I think it's best for everybody.
Of course it is. Of course it is. It would be perfect, but it's not ideal in any way, shape, or form. But all I'm saying, and I'm not condoning it, is there's 2 sides to every story, Steve. And most of the time, it's the football club that actually threaten the player. I've seen it myself. I've been there. I've had lots of friends. On the 1 or 2 occasions a year that we hear of, oh, a player's got a bit of power here because he's done really, really well, and now he's in demand. When it's the other side of the story, the whole world goes into meltdown. Everybody comes in and hammers the player and backs the club and things like that.
There you go.
And I've seen it, and I can't stand it because it's
a
two-way thing, this is.
Yeah.
And as I say, not that I'm condoning his behaviour, but I'm just putting it out there that this happens a lot the other way around as well. So it's not all bad on football players.
Michael Owen speaks a lot of sense, especially on this topic. And who better to be experiencing that than Michael Owen? Like I say, he left Liverpool for Real Madrid. He left Real Madrid and then ended up at Newcastle, and then ended up at Manchester United. You know what I mean? And people call him a Judas for that. But this video is not about Michael Owen playing for Manchester United. This is about his experience in football, and he has seen the dirtier side of the game, if you like, as opposed to just seeing what you see on the TV. You've got all the smiles, all the camera things going on in that we see at home. You get one side from here and one side from there. Oh, poor club. Well, it's okay when the shoe's on the other foot and they want to sell you. Like Michael Owen said, you know what I mean? You can't have everything your own way. No player is bigger than the club. So, I mean, if you've got a player that doesn't want to play for you, you may as well get rid, even if it leaves you with no strikers, because either way, he's still not going to play for you. And then you can get the money and you can try and sign someone, even you've got there's 10 days left of the transfer window at the time I'm recording this video. You can still get somebody in. Someone will want to play for Newcastle. It's just who. Do you know what I mean? You've got to get your thinking caps on and go and find someone who's quite a prolific striker. Doesn't have to be a big name. Doesn't have to be a big, massive name. I mean, who was Isak before he come here? I'd never heard of him until he got to Newcastle, and suddenly, he set the Premier League on fire, especially last season. So yeah, if a player doesn't want to play for your team, then let him go. I mean, Trent didn't want to play for us anymore. He wanted to play for Real Madrid, and there was a bit of animosity about the way he did it, because we didn't get no money for him. Well, apart from the 10 million, which is peanuts for him. But I mean, a lot of Liverpool fans were going, well, no player's bigger than the club. Off your pop, Trent. You know what I mean? If you don't want to play for us, we don't want to play. Doesn't want to play for us. And the same thing should be said for Alexander Isak. Anyway, guys, what are your thoughts on this? I'd like to know. Let me know in the comments. Don't forget to check out this original video. And if you like what you saw, then don't forget to hit like and subscribe and follow me. And yeah, see how big we can make this channel.